that. Hopefully it's not too loud, but I wanted to post an Ask Me Anything. I've been, my gosh, I don't know what to tell you guys, but things have been really, really great. I've been excited to work on my driving. I'm getting a lot faster. I just watched Max Homa win at Riviera. Pretty awesome. He really hung in there at the end. And I said on Instagram earlier that I was going to have an Ask Me Anything. So if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I highly recommend it. We have a group of over 800 people on Facebook. The MSE group is, 800 diehard Hogan fans. It's a really, really cool thing. So, on my social media, I always encourage all that. I post a lot to Instagram just because it's quick and easy. And I promise I'm going to make more YouTubes, but I've been building out my set and doing so many new things here at the Evolution Center. But I'll tell you, where shall I begin? Okay, so I'm hitting the ball farther. Why don't we start with that? I've done my driving evolution several times. And each time I pick up a lot of speed. And the first two times I did it, I just used a swing speed radar. And I would usually, pick up, each time I got to the high 120s, low 130s. Now, the swing speed radar, I'm not sure how accurate it is. And it seemed to be accurate up to the teens, but I'm not sure if it held up as much into the higher speeds. But without question, I hit the ball a lot farther every time I do a driving evolution. And I think the main reason why is because I'm practicing driving. Wherever your attention goes, it's going to make a big difference on, your results. So I'm focused on three things right now. I would like to break an all-new record. My best rounds are a couple under at 70. I haven't been able to get into the 60s. Okay, stack and tilt. I think Hogan had some elements of stack and tilt, but I would not call him a stack and tilter. I think that there's times when he certainly looks stacked left. I even, with my short irons and wedges, I try and stay left, but I wouldn't call him a straight up stack and tilter. His swing does not look like those guys. I'm not good enough to try and compete at the super high level. I'm going one step at a time. Somebody was asking me about competing in a pretty serious tournament. I'm just trying to get better right now. So Kyle's asking about what's the best way to improve ball striking. So it's very important that you understand that you have to hit down on the ball with a descending blow, but you have to maintain the structure of, like, if you look at the Ben Hogan picture behind me, his head is behind the ball, but he's still hitting down on the ball. That's the elements that you have to kind of tackle in order to be a good ball striker. I've seen people who want to hit down on the ball and they get their upper body ahead of it, and that's just terrible. It ruins your impact alignments. It makes you too steep into the ball. Okay, so it really requires that you keep the ball, like for a descending blow, say an 8-iron, off the left side of your head. So you don't get your head ahead of the ball or your chest, so the ball is just slightly ahead of you, but you're still turning and hitting down with a downward blow. Let me tell you about my driving. So guys, I started out my first week 274 yards. Question, yes, I play in LA. I give lessons at the Evolution Center right here. I teach at Eaton Canyon, and I may start playing at a new private club. I'm going to tell you about that soon, but it's too early to talk about that. If you want a lesson, you can email me, Christo@myswingevolution.com. The Evolution Center, I just taught 2 people. I have a 2-2-2 deal going where 2 friends, $200 each for 2 hours. So what is the most important thing? Okay, Matt, I'm not sure I understood that pane of glass question. You just don't break the pane of glass, or at least you try and stay under it. So my week 1 of driving distance, I averaged 274 yards. That's not too bad. Now it's perfect conditions, level lie, and I'm swinging as hard as I can. Ron, I am using it, but not as much as I need to. I want to do it more tomorrow. I want to use that speed stick more. So week 2, I did, I picked up some yardage, not much speed. My average speed, club head speed went up a little bit, but my contact was much better because I adjusted my ball position and I averaged 301 yards off the tee week 2. So that's average distance. That's not top distance. And then week 3, I topped out at 324 yards. 325 yards was my longest drive, but my average jumped to 308 yards. So that's what I'm going to be picking up tomorrow. You know, I don't know how much higher my average can get because my smash factor was 1.48 average. My club head speed, I think, was around 111. I think the week before it was about 109. So the way I do this speed training, I train with a partner. We get warmed up. Like we probably hit irons, stretch, loosen up, warm up. We throw the medicine ball, throw the football. We come in here, we start hitting drives. We probably hit like 20 drives until we're nice and loose. And then we start our session where we're recording our distances in every drive because, you know, when you're warming up, you hit some dinkers and you don't want those to ruin your average. But this last go round, man, it's just, I'm dialing in what exactly I need to do in order to hit the ball, you know, more solidly. My smash factor is you know, looking really good, and my spin numbers are staying around 2,500. I think my spin was a little bit high. No, my irons are fitted. Somebody asked me about having my clubs and irons fitted. My irons are 2 degrees flat. They're the exact. I don't have any plans for vlogs and matches coming up, but hopefully that's coming soon. My driver is not fitted for me. I have a smoke stiff shaft, 45.5 inches, basically 9 degrees from the Ben Hogan Golf Company. It's a great driver. It's like my favorite driver. I am not going to lie. I hit the thing a mile. It feels good. It looks sexy, but I haven't been fitted for it. So Hogan started his downswing with his legs and his hips. The arms come along for the ride. So you don't start with the arms and hands. You let the body go, just like he said in his lesson. So I am considering that after a couple more weeks with driver tweaks, you know, maybe I need an extra stiff shaft. I don't know. Maybe I need a different loft on my driver. I don't know. Somebody asked me about Manuel de la Torre. I've watched his videos, and I've watched Manuel de la Torre's videos, and I can't really wrap my head around. Maybe I haven't seen the right video. Put a link for the best Manuel de la Torre video because I haven't been able to get into it. So the best thing for building swing speed is, you know, you just got to learn how to swing aggressively in balance. What if Ben Hogan wasn't as good as people say? Then the people that say that are not very intelligent. I've been studying Hogan for 10 years solid, and I've had Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player tell me he's the man. So tee to green, they don't say he was the best scorer, or he was certainly the best winner of his era. And Gary Player said you can't really compare players of different eras because the clubs, the balls, and the competition changes. But Gary Player told me, without question, Ben Hogan was the greatest striker of the ball from tee to green that ever lived. So that's from Gary Player, and he said, I've seen them all from Gene Sarazen to Justin Thomas. So where were we? Gosh, I got a whole bunch of questions there. So let me just keep telling you about what I'm up to. So yeah, I just talked to Greg. I saw him a couple days ago, and I'm going to invite him down to the studio. I'm making a new series. Making a new series called Mr. Hogan, and so I would like to have Greg as a returning guest. It's about time. So we'll see if he can make it down. He doesn't really venture out an awful lot. I haven't heard from Lee Trevino yet. I'd like to reach out to him. I did recently talk to Bruce Fleischer's caddy. So Bruce won 18 tournaments on the Champions Tour, and Hogan spent most of his days practicing at the end at Shady Oaks and also Colonial Country Club. So talking to Bruce Fleischer's caddy, I'm talking about what I'm trying to do now. And you know, I'm talking to everybody about this now. So Gary Player told me, he's like, in order to shoot in the 60s, you must become a master of the short game. And he told me he loved my golf swing. It was quite an honor to be able to, you know, swing for Gary Player and have him say that, you know, you've got an awesome golf swing. But he helped me, and I'm doing the arm lock putting style because, you know, because Gary Player told me to. I told him, I said, I get the yips. I get nervous and I'll yank a 3-footer. And he goes, arm lock, go to the arm lock putting style. It should be illegal, but it's not, you know. And then he said, you can go crazy and go left hand low arm lock, and then the club is really not going to twist. But left hand low, I haven't been able to get a feel for my distance putting, my lag putting. So now what I'm doing, I'll get to George Genkus in a second. Remind me if I forget. Now what I'm doing is just the last round, I started looking at the hole. Instinct putting, like trying to see the hole and roll at that distance. I think it helped my touch a little bit, and I made a couple putts. So that was encouraging. So somebody asked me about George Genkus, okay? I respect George. I respect anybody that does, I respect anybody that teaches the game of golf. And when you talk about somebody who's a successful teacher, the level of George Genkus, you know, I have even greater respect. However, I've tried some of that stuff. I don't care for it on my body. I believe that there's more lateral weight shift. Genkus is more rotational. I can't get the feel for it. I've tried it. I've worked with people who do what he does and teaches. And they're like, you got to do this and can opener and all this stuff. And, you know, I struggled trying to do this more modern type of swinging. And I trust what Jack Nicklaus and Ben Hogan did. That just works better for me. You know, but you know, if somebody works on the Genkus style and it really does well for them, then I think that's great, you know. Somebody asked me about George Knudsen as a ball striker. I know he's legendary, but I haven't really seen him other than a few YouTube videos. I understand he was really, really awesome. Martin Ayers. I have done the twirl ever since Martin Ayers. I'll tell you guys something interesting. So when Martin first started teaching this twirl move, he would go like it's just so nuts because, you know, he just would describe it. It looked so odd what he was trying to explain. And I almost think, you know, he almost got a kick out of people's minds being warped. Like, oh my God, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. So the danger in the golf swing on the backswing for me is this. Okay? This is, now I'm right-handed. This arm going over this, and the shoulders get flat, and you swing around your shoulders, okay? Now, the thing is, I can maintain my shoulder tilt with my right elbow above my left, and I can do this with my wrists without destroying the relationship of my arms. A lot of people try and open the club face and they do it like this with their arms, but I want to keep my rear elbow over my left practically as long as possible so that I don't get too flat with my shoulders. And then I roll the club up into this cup. And then where I wind up is in that position, just like that picture I put up of Ben Hogan when he's on TV. If you go to my Instagram, I've got that picture where Ben Hogan says, "I get like this." And that's exactly, what Martin Ayers did. So, Mo Norman, awesome ball striker. I'm great friends with Reed Howard and Todd Graves, who teach the Mo Norman style. I've made a few videos and I've tried the swing style. For me personally, it doesn't feel natural. I know they call it natural golf with the big grips and you stand back like this. I couldn't get consistent enough with it. It just didn't feel natural. And I don't know, with the exception of Bryson DeChambeau, who's kind of like that. He's a single planer. Man, you don't see much success at the high level. You just don't see very much success. Hi, Rick. Yes, I do lift. I try and lift 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. I usually walk to the gym, and it's about a mile away. I get a little warm up, and then I hit the weights for about 45 minutes. And nowadays, what I'm doing weightlifting wise is I'm doing a lot more. I do legs and deadlifts more regularly, and I'm doing more explosive training because I'm trying to hit the ball farther. So my normal weight routine is kind of your standard. I prefer incline press to bench press, but I do them both. I'm big into shoulders, so I do usually shoulder presses and upright rows and lateral raises and curls and tricep extensions and crunches and sit-ups and pull-ups. But now I'm focusing more on my legs and doing things like throwing, like I throw a medicine ball up in the air and I try and do jumps and things because I'm really trying to hit the ball farther. The modern ball flight laws, I got a question about that. I'm learning right now. Right now I'm doing I do push-ups to warm up. I'm learning a lot about ball flight laws from hitting on my simulator. But this is an exciting new era for my swing evolution because, man, I'm having so much fun. I'm learning so much. Like I said, my driving went from 274 to 301 to 308. I don't have a current handicap. I need to establish one. At my best, when I tracked all my scores, earlier in my swing evolution, when I started breaking par, I got down to 2.2. I'm pretty rusty right now. I'd say I'm probably in the 5 handicap range. Do you think the USGA should do something about ball and limiting distance? No, I don't think they should do anything different than where the ball and the club face is now. In 2004, the USGA limited the trampoline effect a driver can have. That's the ball speed coming off the face of the driver, okay? I believe the balls are also regulated, that you can't just come out with a ball. They can make golf balls that fly farther. But so there's regulations on the drivers and the balls. But the problem is, if somebody decides that they want to train for speed like Bryson DeChambeau, you shouldn't hurt him because he's willing to take the physical work on to get faster and hit the ball farther, okay? It's not fair. Plus, if you limit it, you're still screwing over the other guys because Bryson's still going to hit it so much farther. So I don't think they need to regulate that stuff. somebody asked about Ben Hogan hitting with modern equipment, and I've had several people like, Doug Sanders told me, he said he'd never miss a green. He'd never miss a fairway if he had the modern equipment. But he never missed them anyway. Jack Nicklaus told me that he played the first 3 rounds he played with Ben Hogan. He hit all 18 greens in regulation the first round, all 18 the second round, and hit the first 16 of the final round before he missed a green on the 17th hole. He hit fairways and greens like crazy. Maybe Ben Hogan did better against everybody because the equipment was crappy and he was the only guy that could play it. Like he played with the crappy stuff so much better than everybody else. I don't know. Or, maybe if he played today, he'd hit it, average 320 and, just be, hitting 72 greens in every tournament. I mean, it's the guy, Hogan, I think he would hit like 66 greens in regulation in a U.S. Open. Like, the guy just did not miss. That's the thing that, I'm interviewing. I talked to this guy, Greg Hood. Oh, my God. He was a former director of tour operations for the PGA Tour. And everybody tells me, Hogan, nobody hit the ball as well as Ben Hogan. Number 2, often I hear, is Lee Trevino. The Match. I read the first half of that book. I set it down. I don't know where it is now, but where they were playing up in Monterey, Venturi, Nelson, and Hogan, and that car salesman dude. But those boys could play, man. That's a really cool story. Man, I'll tell you what, I saw. So I'm working on a new site where I can do professional level videos. Yeah, Adam Scott is a little suspicious about his anchoring. I'm trying to step everything up and make more professional videos. I think Hogan only had 1 hole-in-one on the PGA Tour. That's it. Not many hole-in-ones. It's weird. But he said, I was told that Hogan didn't want to hit the pins. They used to have wooden pins, and if you hit the pin, the ball would bounce off the green. So he tried to work the ball towards the pin. Man, I want to make golf movies. I've got 2 golf movies I want to make. I just got a message from a friend of mine who's been in some comedy movies that's pretty famous, and I've got so much stuff that I want to make. But, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get this member site up and going, and it's going to be pretty cool. Somebody asked about roids. They do test. I don't know how stringent their testing is. I think they have allowable limits on testosterone and HGH and stuff like that. But at any rate, I guess they should test. I think that I personally don't want to take steroids. I work out and I train, but it seems to me like it's like any drug. It's like you're borrowing. It's like taking a loan out. I see these, I used to train at Gold's Gym, and I'd see these former Mr. Olympias walking around, and they're like little skinny sticks. You go off the roids and you lose everything. I want to know naturally where I'm at. USDA testing is no joke. Okay. What does the road to the Champions Tour look like? I'll tell you what, I'm in contact with a guy who made the greatest transition from being a journeyman golfer to the Champions Tour ever. And so that's what I'm about to do. As soon as I wrap this up, I was told I'm working on my driving, and I'm getting better at that. And I talked to Bruce Fleischer's caddy, okay? And he's putting me in touch with Bruce because I want him to be on my Mr. Hogan series, because Bruce used Ben Hogan's 5 lessons to become, one of the greatest Champions Tour players ever. But he was a journeyman before that. So his caddy told me, I said, look, I'm working on my driving. Gary Player told me to work on my putting, and now I have to work on my wedges. And so my new friend Dave told me, he goes, Bruce Fleischer spent 2 hours every morning mastering his wedges. You have to master 60 yards, 80 yards, and 100 yards. If I can hit the ball 300 off the tee pretty straight, if I master those wedges, then once you get past those distances, you know, my stock wedge is 125 to 130. You start to hit these numbers, you know, where you can really manage your way around the course. If you could do only one stretch, what would it be? It would probably be hamstrings, you know, where forward folds so that you stretch the back of the hamstrings. But why just do one stretch? Left side, do you feel like you have a left side, right side dominant swing? So there's a big conversation about a swinger is a left side leading swing and a hitter is a guy who comes through with the right side. We have bilateral symmetry, okay? So I consider myself a swing hitter, which is both. I start with all left side, okay? And I come down to the position I call Shangri-La. Then at Shangri-La, my right side. I throw it through as hard as I can. So if there's such a thing as a swing hitter, I think that's what I am. So guys, I'm going to try and make some videos here, some more tip videos. I've got videos. I had these students come by today. These young guys, they've just picking up golf, okay? And really, really had a wonderful time with these two guys. And this one young man, he'd never played 18 holes of golf. I got him to hit a drive 319 yards. I'm not even kidding. Never played 18 holes, and he hit a drive 319 yards. Pretty darn straight, too. It was amazing. So, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to try and do more of these. I just wish there was more hours in the day because I'm so busy with golf. There's so many things happening. I can't even tell you about the things that are happening, but they're very good things. But I love you all. I love the game of golf. I'm honored to be able to do what I do, and I hope you hit them long and hit them straight. Okay, guys, bye.